Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So EFE AJAGBA and Oscar Rivas are going to be getting busy January 14th on ESPN up there in New York, man. And it is going to be interesting. The thing is, they're not fighting for Oscar Rivas and his bridgeweight title. Oscar Rivas just had an opportunity to fight EFE AJAGBA at heavyweight. So for Rivas, he was like, this is just one of those opportunities that is, hard to turn down. Getting a chance to come out there, man, and fight and possibly get himself back in the mix in the heavyweight division. Now, Oscar Rivas, he may be in deep with this guy, EFE AJAGBA, man. Now, the Nigerian is a monster. We all know about that sledgehammer-like right hand. AJAGBA's coming off of his first loss to Frank Sanchez. It wasn't very competitive. Frank Sanchez moved. He used his ring IQ. He just basically outboxed, picked his shots, closed the distance really quickly, and got the big shots off, and was able to drop AJAGBA. But AJAGBA goes on to say that he's injury-free and ready to show the world what he can accomplish when he's 100%. He said he respects Rivas for accepting the challenge. They're going to give the fans a great show, but he'll be victorious. And I tend to think he's going to be victorious. And I'm going to tell you right now, our sons play on the same AAU basketball team. The 2016 Nigerian boxing team coach, the Olympic coach for the Nigerian team, his sons and my sons all play on the same AAU basketball team. And he and I are always talking about boxing. He was a professional boxer. He's from Nigeria. And he's the one who has sparred Andy Ruiz, and he put a lot of work in. And he was fighting at cruiserweight when he was professional. But he had a lot of tough times here in the States getting fights. He's a good person, man. But that guy loves his country and he loves boxing. And we sit there and we just go back and forth. I had opportunities to talk with him about Ikabe Ibuchi, Samuel Peters, all of that, all the controversy about Ikabe Ibuchi and the whole rape thing, Samuel Peters, everything. And he gives me a different spin. I mean, he's from Nigeria, you know what I'm saying? He's still connected to everything. But all that stuff that happened back then, he was there. And he was fighting professionally and training the Nigerian Olympian team. But he shed light on a lot of things. And it's fun talking with him. But for EFE AJAGBA, he's got everything you need. But what I think hurt him, I keep saying, man, when these boxers keep changing trainers, man, and a guy like Ronnie Shields trying to, and not just him. You saw it with Dillian White. You saw it with Anthony Joshua. You've seen it with Deontay Wilder. You saw it with Andy Ruiz. You kind of saw it a little bit with what's that boy? Always in the goddamn social media, Ryan Garcia. You can't turn a lion into a pussycat. Let the lion be a lion. And what I think hurt AJAGBA in that Frank Sanchez fight is, one, Frank Sanchez is just that damn good. But you're trying to make this man float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. That's not what AJAGBA does. AJAGBA, he establishes his presence and without throwing a punch makes people run out the goddamn ring. Okay? You guys remember that? That guy who he did that to actually fought this past weekend. And, he fought that guy out of a big 6'6" guy, man. He's not from Ukraine. Excuse me. He's from one of those stands. But he's the gold medalist for the recent 2020 Olympics or something. But monster. But he got in there and tried, but he got his ass out of it. But you remember, that's the guy with AJAGBA. The bell rang, that guy stepped right out. He right between them ropes and went his ass back to Jacksonville, Florida. He didn't want nothing to do with him. That's the quickest defeat on record. 1 second, 2 seconds, something crazy. He got out of there. But AJAGBA, he's a lion. Let the Nigerian be a lion. Let him be the killer he is and get in the ring and destroy people. He had the intimidation factor on his side. A lot of guys were getting in that ring. He was bringing into that ring an intimidation factor, kind of like what Mike Tyson did. Guys were afraid. They knew, if this man hit me, I'm out of here. But now, I'm not saying he's been exposed. I think Ronnie Shields, who is trying to add a few things to his arsenal, but as a result, they're not utilizing that big bazooka-like right hand as much as they should be. It's like Deontay Wilder. You see Malik Scott trying to work on different things. The jab, the left hook, lateral movement, picking and choosing. Let me tell you something. That shit's not going to work with Andy Ruiz. And what I'm saying is, EFE AJAGBA is basically like Deontay Wilder. They can box. They have skill, but they have power. Let them use their power. That's what neutralizes their opponents. Their opponents be scared to throw shots because they know what's coming. But if you go sit there and you're not letting the power go, well, that's going to get their confidence, and there's a chance for them to get something off. Conversely, a person can say, well, that's what you want, to get them comfortable. Then boom, you let go of the big right hand and blah, blah, blah. Hold your horses. We don't have time for the skullduggery, for the gamesmanship. Nah, get in there, establish your dominance, make your presence felt, the intimidation factor, and extinguish them, eradicate them with the right hand. So with AJAGBA and Rivas can fight. But I think AJAGBA, I'm rooting for AJAGBA. It's a good fight. The thing about Rivas, it's a great opportunity because he still has his WBC Bridgeweight title, which I think is just a stupid weight division, but I get it. They have huge heavyweights out there, man. But, they got to get more people to kind of gravitate towards this Bridgeweight division and see how they fare. But for AJAGBA, I think he has everything it takes to possibly win a championship. But he's going to have to wait and see if these belts are going to be somewhat, broken up, and whoever's holding it, if it's going to get dismantled, and then he may get an opportunity. But right now, they just got Deontay Wilder there. They got Tyson Fury. You have AJ. I even think Andy Ruiz gives him problems. You got Frank Sanchez still floating around. Frank Sanchez too, but Luis Ortiz. While those five guys are still floating around, man, it's going to be hard for these up-and-comers to get in there and get a piece. Right now, Dillian White's on a decline. That's a good fight for AJAGBA. Dillian White. AJAGBA would knock Dillian White out cold. But Eddie Hearn would never make that. So AJAGBA, with the kind of power he has, he's going to struggle to get fights. Rivas is taking it because it's a win-win for him. If he loses, no problem. He's still a title at Bridgeweight, can still go on and make big money. But for AJAGBA, he's got to win this fight, and I think he will. But I like Rivas too, man. But I'm rooting for AJAGBA because I know the guy who coached him, and I know more. I know their story. I know where they come from, and maybe because of that, I'm a little biased. I try to remain neutral when it comes to boxing, but I'm a little biased to AJAGBA. But nevertheless, man, AJAGBA 16-1 and 13 KOs. This man is a problem. And Rivas, you got to give him credit too. AJAGBA was an Olympian. Rivas was an Olympian. In 2008, he fought for Colombia in the Olympics, man. Moved to Montreal in 2009 to start his professional career. So he's been around for a while, man. And he got rid of Brian Jennings in 2019, but out there losing to Dillian White, which was kind of a joke. But if he can get through AJAGBA, Rivas' career is back on track. And I really hope for both of these guys to go on and get some big money. But right now, I'm rooting for AJAGBA. I hope he goes on there and gets the big payday. He hasn't got the kind of money he deserves. And this is MMA talk now, but Francis Ngannou hasn't got the kind of big money they deserve. The last real, we got, the other two Nigerians out there, is just Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They're making money. But before that, who was it? What, Samuel Peter? Akabe Ibuchi? Who else? At heavyweight is what I'm talking about. Maybe it's somebody of Nigerian heritage, but the only two names that I could call off the top of my head is Sam Peter and Akabe Ibuchi. We know what happened with Akabe Ibuchi. And Sam Peter, it is what it is. But that being said, this is what's going on. Guys are going to be fighting up there in New York. And it's going to be interesting. So if you're out there in Verona, New York, stop by on January 14th to the Turning Stone Resort Casino and check them out. That being said, y'all keep cool. Glad to see these two are back in the mix early January. The year's starting off good, man. You got these guys fighting. You got Wilder fighting. You got Tank fighting. You got Boots Ennis fighting. You got Keith Thurman, Earl Spence fighting. You got a lot of good fights starting off the first quarter of the year. It's going to be crazy, man. Plan your Saturdays accordingly, people, because you don't want to miss this stuff. That being said, shout out to the veterans, people from all 7 continents. Y'all keep cool. And as always, if you want to support the channel, please do. And I'm in the breeze.